Shri Yuttapada Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajevam Sadvetam Sadvehutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bando Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancha Gorangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbanu Stute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyayavacha Haritanam Pavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Wonderful, wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Priti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. Sorry, I'm driving Prabhuji. Once
No
I reach
worries.
home.
Sure. Of course. So let's quickly go over what did we cover last class. Any takeaway? What you remember?
I remember the Chaya and Pratibimba, Prabhu.
Very good. Okay. And Chaya and Pratibimba. What is Pratibimba? What is Chaya? Any recollection, Mataji?
So Pratibimba is the first, Chaya is the second stage before progressing to Prema.
Okay. So yeah, so it's not like a stage, but it may happen. So you're just telling that before many times, how to know whether one devotee is the practitioner is reaching towards the bhava or not, right? And for that matter, these principles or the guardrails have been provided. I won't say even the guardrails. Um, the symptoms have been provided so that the practitioner can identify where he or she is, right? And so it may seem that whenever if there are the devotee, the practitioner hasn't reached the pure bhava stage, and they might be at pratibimba, which is not a stage in itself. It's just like they haven't reached there, right? They are on the work in progress. They think, oh, I think I am there. So it's just a warning that no, if these are the things which is happening, one might be in pratibimba, and the chaya is very likely that it's like before one get to the bhava, one will has to go through the chaya, right? Like okay, as I am making the progress, like there as let's say you're chanting, some realization will start happening, and you will be in a zone where you will feel that we are totally into the meditation. So, for example, it is said that if one is able to meditate on the Lord's name for 2.5 minutes, it is considered to be without any disturbance, totally focused. Then it is the stage of samadhi. So samadhi is not that one is 24/7, like you're not thinking anything else. The samadhi, like let's so the way so dhyana, dharana, samadhi, right? So dhyana is, let's say one is looking at the um, trying to dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Okay, so one first tries to and let me turn on the video also. Um, let's one is trying to first look at the limbs of Krishna. Let's say his middle belt, right? And the devotee is trying to dharan. Dharan means trying to requires little effort. Try to get that image in the mind and just focusing on that. Try to focus. So dharana. So I'm trying initial thing is happening. That's dharana, and then dhyana is when there's more intensity, more focus. So on the same belt, the devotee is able to hold on that for a while and is there. They are not able to move. They are totally engulfed. It's just amazing feeling that I am looking at Krishna's belt. I'm looking at Krishna's belt. You are there. But but then it goes intensified where the devotee focus doesn't lose even for like 2.5 minutes or longer. And that stage is called samadhi. Now the devotee has got a very high intensity. So you know how this is progressing. So initially, if let's say if I don't know, I will be thinking that even though I'm at the dharana stage, I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's a samadhi, right? Or even if I'm at a dhyana stage, I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is samadhi. So that's the reason why these pratibimba and chaya has been described. Okay, it's not that uh, one has to always go through these things, but it's very likely that as the practitioner is going through it, they will be seeing these pratibimba and the chaya before they get to um, the true bhava stage. Hope I make sense. Does it help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So that's one reflection. What else? Um, what else can we recollect?
I remember that word Rati Abasa, Prabhu.
Tell a little bit more. Tell a little bit more. Anybody would like to add and say what is Rati Abhasa?
Uh, it's the desire because the elevated personality, like whoever is elevated, they still have some desire, uh, and that leads to this pratibimba and chaya. Correct, Prabhu?
Yes.
And
There is.
uh,
Yes.
and
So,
that
so
is my
what was the difference between the Pratibimba and Chaya from that perspective, from the desire perspective? You're very close. Try. Or anybody can help, Mataji.
Prabhuji, Pratibimba is like inverted, I mean, inverted reflection, mainly if we have some, still some material desires, it would reflect upon, even though we are in, we are not exactly closing Prema Bhava, but still on the path of Bhakti. but whatever I'm not getting exact word, Prabhu,
No,
but
no, no.
yeah.
Okay, 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 okay. Nice try, Mataji. Nice try. Anyone else? Okay, so see, so in both the cases, desire, little desire is there. In the Pratibimba, there is a desire, that hidden desire, very subtle, is that I would like to enjoy something. Maybe I would like to be famous, or means even if I am like somebody is a devotee, they are a very strong preaching devotee because means sorry, they are a strong devotee because they are towards the path of the bhava, right? So they are doing everything right. But our anartha doesn't go that easy. So there may be some subtlety that for the pratishtha, like I should be respected. When I go and give the classes, let's say I'm a preacher, give the classes, people should say, "Wow, what a nice class." Maybe the small thing, subtle thing, maybe there, and I don't even realize that. Okay, so that desire, so that is like a kind of a, and it is persistent. So that's like a pratibimba. But for the other devotee, this desire is not there all the time. Sometimes, let's say they in the group of devotees, they are preaching, they're talking, and then this devotee may think that, oh, if I wish I could have known this subject much better. But then you think, oh, why I'm thinking, I'm hearing the Hari Katha from all these wonderful devotee, and they are so nice, they are giving. So I just realized my mistake, right? So that's the chaya, right? So from that, the distinguish how to distinguish these two things, right? So in the case of the chaya, the desire comes and go, while in the pratibimba it stays there. It's there, and even though it's very subtle, but it's there. Okay, and rati bhasa is just that experience while one is in the pratibimba or chaya is called rati bhas. Rati abhash, right? So it's a semblance of bhava. So it's not exactly bhava, but the devotee is experiencing a semblance of bhava, but it's not there yet. Okay, and that's the reason why these things are being described here, so that a devotee practitioner can understand and try to identify. Oh, that's my subtle desire. I have to really handle it. I have to really work towards it. Okay, so that's the reason why these things are defined. And before that, we had covered the 9 different symptoms of the bhava, right? So it was quickly like the no wasted time, like the devotee should not waste time. Every moment is for Krishna. Okay, so that's so we and this is where we are emphasizing that, especially for the people who are coming from India, we have to really focus on that because we have become like an Indian stretchable time. So we have to really focus. But in general, it's not to say that one culture or the other, but the devotee of Krishna, they should be punctual. They should be very punctual and do the seva, making sure that we are not wasting our time. Time is very precious. Time is Krishna's energy. The other one, next one was undisturbed even when in a difficult situation. Even when somebody is cursing us, can I be undisturbed? So it is a very high stake. So we have to start from the small tolerance, right? I'm sick, I'm in pain. Then the next thing is, so first I am able to handle. The next thing is, if my child is sick or my wife is sick and she is in pain, I may be able to tolerate that also, right? So and then further, if like somebody's cursing me or cursing, uh, like, you are a stupid guy, you are just idiot, you don't get it, if I am still able to tolerate that, right? So these are the things. So the real test is when we are put really against the wall. That's the time, am I able to really uh, tolerate the situation or not? Okay, so that's what we should focus on. um, then that we talked about the detachment, the natural detachment. It's not the forced, right? It's not the forced detachment. One is, of course, we have to start with the being aware that what I'm attached to, and then try to little force and try to detach. Let's say somebody is likes to do shopping and like to wear nice dresses. Um, so first I have to see that why I'm spending time on this. For Krishna, Krishna needs simple dresses. I should just wear nice, clean cloth. It need not be that stylish, anything like that. So I'm trying to force myself, right? If that urge happens, I try to um, uh, change my mind, right? And just focus on something else. So I'm initially forcing, but then it should, over time, by the Krishna's grace, it should become natural that I don't have the taste for wearing the stylish dress. I just want to see what makes Krishna happy. I'm just focusing. I'm focusing on that. What I am wearing doesn't, as long as my body is covered and is with a clean dress, and it seems palatable that Krishna will be happy, I'm okay. So that natural tendency, so that natural detachment, so that's what is being, that's the third thing. So natural is not forced. Devotee doesn't have a taste for that. And the main, one of the some of the things which is very hard to leave is the sexual desire, right? Sexual desire for the opposite gender, being um, appreciated by the opposite gender, right? In a subtle way also. Oh, how I'm looking, like how I'm looking, and is my hairstyle good? And you'll see, like many times, we as a devotee practitioner do in a subtle way, and we don't even realize that, right? So there is subtle desire. We have to go identify that and work on that. Okay, so that's the third one. Okay, so far we talked time, tolerance, undisturbed. Third is detachment, natural detachment. Fourth is pridelessness, right? So we have to become humbler than the grass, right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this is the one which is the key, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasizes, um, uh, in and we read it right in the Chaitanya Sikshastakam, right? Trinadapi Sunichena. So if once that happens, and if that is coupled with the gratitude, right? Um, then we will make very, very big advancement in our spiritual journey. Okay, so we have to learn. It's a real humbleness. So we can show the external humbleness. Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, what can I do? So it's like external. But am I internally real humble? Am I really always thinking, oh, so fallen? And it's inside voice. It should not be like a outside I'm telling, because outside I might be telling to impress people. Oh, he's such a big devotee, right? He is a very sincere devotee, because maybe I want to hear that. So devotee do not talk about his or her elevated position. He or she internally is trying to work on that and trying to see, am I really becoming humble? And the sign of humble, do I feel that Krishna is so great? How merciful he is, how he's helping me. I'm nothing, and it's not nothing. I really know that I feel totally I'm nothing. I'm just a waste. I'm just a waste. So if that kind of a natural feeling is there, that is a good chance that I am becoming a true humble. I'm getting to that position. Okay, so that's the one. That's the other four. Means that's the fourth one. Then the fifth one we talked about, uh, very related.
Confidence.
Uh, what was that, Mataji?
Confidence that we'll reach the foot of
Confident.
Lord.
Yes, yes. That we know that we are unqualified, but we are very confident that Lord is going to give us the shelter. So we are not, we know for sure that I am nothing, but I am very sure that Lord is not going to let me go. Lord is going to take care of me. Lord is there. So that's super confidence. Lord is my father, Lord is my mother, Lord is everything for me. That's belief, complete faith. Somebody even put a gun and say that, convert to blah blah blah, leave your Krishna, you kill me. Krishna is there. It's a too wild example, sorry. But I'm just trying to say that it is that kind of a feeling inside. Krishna is mine, okay, yet confident. And then again related to that, burning to see Krishna, the desire, the intensity. I really want to see Krishna. I really want to see Krishna. I really want to serve Krishna, right? That intense desire, the desire, and this desire you can compare when, let's say, if you have been in an intimate relationship, and the first time you you have identified your partner, and that intensity to spend more time with your partner, right? So that's like a shadow. Just think that if that is like 10,000 times, that's the kind of one is craving for Krishna, right? So again, these are all internal things. So burning to see Krishna, um, and that will. How would I know that it is showing up? One is not able to stop chanting. Chanting becomes, it's like there's so much of sweetness one is getting from chanting. Okay. Next topic, and this is the, so that's the attraction, and then the is becoming an addiction. The next step is, so attraction is becoming addiction. So this is, every topic is about Krishna. If I'm not chanting, one is just talking about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. There's nothing but Krishna. Every topic goes to Krishna. It starts from anywhere, it goes to Krishna. Politics, somebody is, let's to talking about politics, the person will be thinking about Krishna. Right? For example, the very nice example that once Prabhupada, and I think I have, we have talked about this, where Prabhu was traveling in the flight, and then on the TV, that time it was not a personal TV, right? You will have the common TV in the flight. So there's the Charlie Chaplin show is going on, and Prabhupada is watching like that, and he's laughing, and devotees are confused. Oh, Prabhupada is watching movie. Maybe it's okay, it's fine. And then when it inquired, why Prabhupada, why you are laughing, and he's telling that I was just thinking that how how much Krishna would be funny, because if he can be so funny, how much more Krishna can be funny, and that was making him laugh. He's thinking about Krishna while the Charlie Chaplin show is going on, right? So that's the kind of, so every topic is about Krishna, and then more intense. Heart is always in Vrindavan. What I am doing here, what I am doing here. I want to be in Vrindavan. I want to be in that Krishna's pastime. And then I'm just thinking Vrindavan, nothing else is in my mind. So see how, so these are the 9 things, right? These are the symptoms of bhava. We should try to meditate on it, for especially for 2 reasons. It's not that we are there at the level of bhava and we are trying to measure ourselves, but we will one day. I hope that with the sincerity of the practice, if the Rupa Goswami and our acharyas have suggested that if you practice this, you are definitely going to get. We should have that confidence. So if we practice sincerely, yes, one day. But let's say while we are walking, even trying to very aware of where I am and try to work on it. That is the other impetus, right? So for me, where I am, it's really these things as I'm reading and learning from with all of us, with you. Um, the things that, okay, where is my tolerance? Where is my intensity, my desire? Am I able to really focus on Krishna's limb? Do I even have the desire to focus on Krishna's limb? Right? So these tell me, oh, I'm like, I have a long way. I don't even have the desire that in a day I should think about the Krishna's limb, and then try to hold the thought on that, right? Wow, that would be so nice, but I don't, right? So it is giving me hope that, okay, these are the things I can really work on, and that will really help me. So so these are the other things we had covered, and then of course we had covered on the Pratibimba and Chaya. Anything else anybody remember if we had covered and we forgot to do a review on this? If not, let's go. Let's
And
start. Yes, there was something,
some
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
even ignorant people also sometimes gets enlightened all of a sudden, Prabhu. That also we discussed.
That yes, that's the Krishna's mercy that it
Yeah.
can happen, and that was, yeah, that um, we need the devotee. It can be devotee mercy or Krishna mercy, and those both, for both there is no cause. Both happens without any cause, right? So yes, definitely it can happen. One foolish person who's totally in mode of ignorance suddenly can become a devotee one day. So that is Krishna's will. Suddenly, one merciful glance, and it can happen. All right. Okay, so let me share my screen. Bri Mataji, would you like to start?
Sure. Translation. By the great mercy of a dear devotee of the Lord, the semblance of Bhava suddenly becomes real Bhava. By offending that devotee, even the best Bhavapasa gradually wanes just as the full moon in the sky gradually wanes. Translation. Moreover, it should be stated, by an offense against the dearest devotee of the Lord, even real Bhava will be destroyed. If the offense is grave, if the offense is medium, the Bhava will turn to Bhavapasa. If the offense is slight, the Bhava will become an inferior type.
Okay, so before we read the commentary, can we try to summarize what these two verses talked about?
Any offense to devotees will destroy your Bhav.
Yes, so even one can be so offense is the we have to be very aware of the offenses. So even at the level of bhava, which is pretty high, and there are the three different varieties being talked, or two different varieties being talked about, talked about, that if the offense is grave, then so by offense against the dearest devotee of Lord, even real bhava will be destroyed if the offense is grave. So real bhava, so means totally that person will fall from the position of the bhava. Go down where it will go down, we don't know. Because grave depends. Um, and if the offense is medium, the bhava will turn to bhava bhashya. That's like a chaya. If the offense is slight, the bhava will become an inferior type. The intensity of the bhava will reduce. Right. So we have to be very careful, and so these are the things which is just being talked about because why it is being talked about.
I think it's a warning for anyone who's aspiring for this.
Yeah, and the warning is because it's very likely that
No, it happens. Yeah.
it happens. Yes, exactly. That's the reason why it is being warned. Okay, so that's the thing. Go ahead, Mataji.
Jiva Goswami's commentary. By two types of grave offenses, offense to the dearest devotee or to Krishna himself, Krishna Presta Aparata, even real Bhava is destroyed. By medium offense, Bhav becomes Bhavapasa. By slight offense, the Bhav degrades in category. Becoming an inferior type means that there will be degradation in terms of the five rasas in the 8 stages of Mahabhav to Rati. Thus, change in Bhav will take place according to the seriousness of offense. Vishvanatha Thakravati Thakur's commentary. Bhav will be destroyed by aparad to the dearest devotees of Krishna. An example is Dvivida, the monkey, a follower of Ram. By aparad to Lakshman, his bhav disappeared. By medium aparad, bhav becomes pavbasa. But if the aparad is slight, the bhav changes types. Madhura rad becomes dasyarat rati, and dasyarati becomes shantarati.
Yeah, so this is a good example, right? So, okay, what does the slight means? So it is the depending on where one is. So naturally, Madhurya encapsulates everything, right? So that's the reason the type of the bhava will go down. So that's the slight. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yes, Mataji, continue.
Translation. By intimate association with a person who strongly desires impersonal liberation, real bhav becomes pavapasa, or becomes worship of the self as the Lord. Jiva Goswami's commentary. Bhajaniyasha Bhavatam means identifying oneself as the Lord, who is the actual object of worship. Bhav to the Lord becomes ahangrahopasanam, worship of the self. Vishwanatha Thakravati Thakur's commentary. By intimate association with a person desiring liberation, who is fixed in that philosophy and who uses logic from jnana scriptures, which establish the superiority of liberation over everything else, suprastite, real pop becomes pavapasa. Alternatively, he identifies himself with the Lord who is worthy of worship. This becomes self-worship.
Okay, so what this particular verse is all about?
If you are associating with somebody who is fixed on liberation or other things, then your pav, which could be real, becomes destroyed.
Yeah, so basically, it is an example of the Bhava Bhashya also, right? But Bhava Bhashya really means that how this association will lead to Bhava Bhashya. So there is the Bhava, but in this case, how the misidentification will happen, and one will start, instead of thinking, oh, Krishna is a supreme personality, how great he is, the devotee, the practitioner may start thinking, oh, because I am the part of Krishna, I am also great, I can also be worshipable. And so that's a very good example of Bhava Bhashya. Yes, Mataji. Good. Um, Jai Radha Mataji, you want to read?
Sure. Translation. It is seen sometimes that new devotees absorbed in the goals of different types of liberation identify themselves with the Lord momentarily during dancing or other acts of devotion. Jiva Goswami's commentary. Kanan, how do you say that?
Shanam. Shanam means,
Shanam.
yeah, for a moment. Shanam.
Okay. Shanam, for a moment, is only a representative term. It implies as well that the attempt to identify oneself as the Lord may last for a long time. Mukti Paksha Ga means those who are absorbed in the goal of Sarupa, Sarsti, and Sampaya.
Samipya. Yeah, so
Samiti.
so all these things are the type of liberation. Sarupya, that one gets the form of the Lord. Saristi, the same opulences. Samipya, in the same place where the Lord is. So these are the kind of liberations. So different. So, but of course, the devotee don't look for that. But this is giving as the part of that shanam for the moment. What can happen? Okay.
Translation. Bhava sometimes appears suddenly in a person without performance of sadhana or mercy and without scriptural knowledge. It should be inferred that in a previous life, some obstacle interrupted that person's skillful sadhana, and in this life, the obstacle has finally been removed. Jiva Goswami's commentary. Sadhana refers to all the causes of bhava. Sadhana bhakti, the mercy of Krishna and the mercy of the devotee. Iksha refers to the knowledge gained through scriptures. Sometimes bhava appears suddenly without knowledge of scriptures and without sadhana, mercy of Krishna or mercy of the devotee. It is seen and verified to be real bhava, ishyate. One should then infer sadhana from a previous life, and in the case of Vrishta Shura and others.
Yeah. So Vrita Sura is being talked about as an example, right? So here the is saying that in some cases somebody suddenly get the bhava, and they were not practicing. They were like just fallen, kind of a fallen soul, and suddenly they become, they are in the bhava. What can be the cause? And the cause is telling from the previous life, and the example is Vritrashura. Right? Vritrashura, even he was born as a demon, but his behavior was that like the devotee who is in at the bhava or the prema, right? So he was telling Indra, why you are not fighting? Fight and kill me, right? Like he's telling, like, okay, so he was totally remembering the Lord, right? So that's what's a good example. Go ahead.
Translation. The Baba, which is more amazing than anything in this world, which gives all powers and which is very deep, is caused by the mercy of Krishna. Jiva Goswami's commentary. Previous in verse 1-3-6, three causes of bhava were mentioned: sadhana, mercy of the Lord, and mercy of the devotees. Now, bhava arising due to sadhana in previous life has just been mentioned. Which of these is the best? Hinting at examples such as Putana, the author says that bhava caused by the mercy of Krishna is the best.
So, see, without this commentary, we wouldn't have understood what the context why Rupa Goswami has put this, right? That bhava, which is more amazing than anything in this world, which gives all powers and which is very deep, is caused by the mercy of Krishna. So, by saying this, Rupa Goswami is telling that, hey, I'm giving you this example, and this is the greatest. And what is that greatest? When Krishna gives the direct mercy. That kind of, because the Krishna has looked upon us, looked upon the practitioner, right? So that's the, and this is the third type. So two types was discussed before: sadhana and the mercy of the devotee, right? But now the direct mercy of Krishna. Okay. Uh, Mrinalini Mataji.
Translation: if some apparent fault is seen in a person who has developed real bhava, one should not be hostile to him because he has accomplished the goal in all respects. Jiva Goswami's commentary: there may be some external bad conduct, why gunyam, but one should not be hostile to him because by having bhava, the person cannot be contaminated by those external activities. Thus, it is said, whatever one is pure or contaminated, and regardless of one's external situation, simply by remembering the lotus eyed personality of Godhead, one can cleanse one's internal and external existence. Garuda Purana. This person cannot be criticized because he has accomplished the goal, he has attained bhava. Krita,
Okay. Yeah.
kritartha.
Yeah. So this is the good example. Another thing, just to be careful, um, is we know a devotee who was always chanting and always in the rasa, and everybody was just used to admire that devotee. Wow, like he is in the bhava all the time. He is singing the glory of Krishna, but nothing else. And suddenly, let's say that he developed the desire to go and find a new wife. Now that devotee should not be criticized. That, oh, it must be external, or no comment shouldn't be made on that. So that the judgment, our tendency to judge, should not be there. Otherwise, we will be creating the aparadh, because it can happen that there is some trace of, but that trace is there of material desire, and thus it may have come as a test from Krishna, as a big force of Maya, uh, or maybe to show us an example. It can be it can be it is definitely being manifested by Krishna, right? Through his potency, to for either to l- he be tested or he becoming an example for others, right? So we should be very very careful not to judge anybody for that matter, not judging the somebody at bhava, but even anybody for that matter. Okay, 60 Mataji.
Prabhu, I chant daily, but I didn't know this meaning. Apavitra pavitro va sarvastam gatopi
Mm,
va yasmare pundarikaksham sa
mm,
bahapyantra suchihi.
mm,
Yeah,
mm, mm.
great meaning given to.
Yes, and so this is when one is becoming the Brahman to go and do
Yeah.
the archana of the deities. This is, and you'll see even the people are doing yagya, anything, this particular verse is
Yes.
being chanted.
Yes, Prabhu. We daily do it in not daily chanting. Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay. Translation: thus it is said to said in the Nrsimha Purana, a person who is dedicated completely to the Lord may show externally serious contamination, but internally he is pure. The full moon, though marked by the figure of a rabbit, is never overcome by darkness. Jiva Goswami commentary. A person may show serious contamination. This means that it is seen externally that he performs forbidden activities. However, he shines with internal bhakti, which cannot be defeated by anyone. He is incomparable. A particular case, the moon is introduced to support the general principle. This is called arthana, Arthantara Nyasa in the Hari Vamsa. It is said Loke Chaya Mayam Lakshma Tavanke Sesa Samjintam. The dark spot on the moon is called a rabbit, though there is a fault in the beauty of the moon. That fault is only superficial.
Okay, so somebody would like to explain this in their own words, what is being talked about here?
It reminds me of um, I've read somewhere Krishna says that you can be like a very high class brahmana and not be his devotee, but then somebody who would be Sudra could be his devotee. So the lesson was not to look on the external when it comes to people's activities because you don't know what their hearts are.
Absolutely, absolutely. And think of some more, some any example. You can a made up example also, what it can be, just to make the point, understand for us to understand better. Any
When
example?
Krishna,
Go ahead.
when Krishna and the cowherd boys were begging the brahmanas for food, and they told them to go away, and so then Krishna told them to go to their wives.
Very, very good example. That's a wonderful example, Mataji. Thank you. Wonderful example. So external, we should not focus on the external wife, even though they are not worshipping the way people will expect, but they are the real devotee of the Lord, right? So external doesn't make sense that they would be devotee. Internally, they are the best devotee. Thank you. Yes, Mataji, if you can finish the 61 also.
Rati is naturally and eternally unstable because of its continuous, ever increasing desires for pleasing the Lord, and it is full of bliss, manifesting this instability in the form of variety of sanchari bhavas. It is tastier than millions of moons. Jiva Goswami commentary. Rati is described as unstable by nature, Ushna, due to ever increasing desire for the Lord, and this state is without beginning or continuous anisha. Rati is also described as Ananda because it is full of joy. Thus, Rati is characterized by continuous instability and very strong bliss. Usmanam in the second line refers to various sanchari bhavas or Vyabhichari bhavas, which cause the instability. Thus ends the third wave concerning Bhava Bhakti in the eastern section of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Okay, so what is the takeaway from this verse?
It's like a wave, sometimes too high, sometimes too low. So it's going in different directions like a wave. So it's very unstable in nature, the Rati, the Bhava.
Mhm. So there will be looks and unstable. If you have to describe the unstable, how can we describe it? Some example can we talk about?
Sometimes we dance, sometimes we chant, sometimes we cry.
Mm, yes, yes,
Sometimes we
yes.
get taken away, don't feel like chanting at all, just looking at the idol,
Not ideal.
sometimes
Vigraha.
concentrating,
Mhm.
yeah, Vigraha Rupa, and
Yeah,
sometimes just getting so like getting detached from everything. Just see, that's it, glance.
very good. Very good. So it becomes very spontaneous. Things just can move, right? And that is and why it happens. It is the That's the reason initially it's called Sanchari Bhava. These are like transient Bhava which will come and go, but still those things are tastier than millions of moons. So at the at the level of Bhava stage, these are called Rati, and but this is unstable. So it's coming, going, and that's the reason it's compared with the ray of light. It's not the full sun, it's a ray of light. At the level of Prema, it will become steady all the time. So we have finished the Bhava section. Uh, any question, thoughts before we move to chapter 19, the last chapter of our Bhakti Sastri study? Any one line takeaway from the chapter so far, the Bhava section, from every one of you? One line takeaway.
What I'm taking away is that um, it's not good to look at something on an external level, because you don't know how their hearts are, and so yeah, not to judge anybody on an external level.
Yes, Mataji, thank you for using that word, that judgment. Yes, and I make that mistake quite a bit. So that is very, very important. Thank you. Um, Jai Radhe Mataji, any takeaway thoughts, anything which comes to your
No,
mind?
I like what she said, like for us not to judge people for the external.
Mhm,
We never know where people are in their
mhm,
practice.
mhm, mhm.
Just because they're the way things appear, we don't know their hearts. Only Krishna knows their hearts. So it's not our business to try to figure them out. Just focus on our own
Okay,
stuff.
okay. Anything else?
Prabhuji, just yeah, I mean, in the same line, like don't judge the book by its cover. And the example of Jad Bharata, Prabhuji,
Mm,
where he was externally, he didn't look like, he's I I mean, he was too much into the bhakti. He didn't care about whatever was happening around. But then later on, the king realized why he was so
mhm,
elevated and he became his devotee. So, yeah, that's a
mhm.
good example, I believe.
Very, very good example, Mataji. Okay. Other than the judgment, anything else is coming to anyone's mind?
To be careful with um, so to not to be careful about with offending, because if or even association, offending and association, because it could cause your bhava to um, be destroyed or downgraded.
Okay. Very good. Anything else?
9 stages.
Very good. 9 stages. Okay. What else?
And
Um,
how the bhava, abhasa, rati abhasa.
Yes.
I don't know,
Yes.
Prabhu, that always revolves around me.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I definitely want us to just not only think about the negative things in terms of what can stop the bhava, right? Which is very, very much required at our stage as a beginner practitioner, right? But even think that the goal of sadhana bhakti is bhava. We all should aspire for that. That, this is amazing path. And if we are sincere, one day by Krishna's grace, and he's very kind, very, very kind. By his grace, the mercy can happen. We are all mercy case anyway. The mercy can happen. And a practitioner can get into the stage of bhava. So it is difficult, but it's very achievable. We are on that path. Very achievable. Prabhupada has given, our Acharya has given everything which is required to get there. So even think from that perspective. It's not that, yo, that's not in my realm of thinking. Let's start thinking about it. That's the journey I have to take. And I can see it's a long way to go, but I have to prepare myself. I have to train myself really well. And so that I can walk that path. I can go there because that's the only way to go back and love Krishna. That's the only way. I want to love Krishna. That's the only way. Right? So let's have that desire in our heart. With that, and that's setting the mood for Prema Bhakti, the fourth wave. Okay, so there are 21 verses. So it start with the definition of Prema Bhakti. What is the cause of Prema Bhakti? From Vaidhi Bhava arising from Vaidhi Sadhana, from Raganuga Bhava arising from Raganuga Sadhana, from Krishna's mercy, right? Mahatma Jnana Yukta for Veda Bhaktas and Kevala for the Raganuga Bhaktas, two different kind of Krishna's mercy, and then stages leading to Prema. So these are the three sections which will be discussed. So let's start. And Preeti Mataji.
Thank you,
Mataji, you have
Prabhu.
reached home. You can read, right?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yes, yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Translation. When bhava becomes extremely condensed, it is called prema by the learned. It softens the heart completely and produces extreme possessiveness of the Lord in the experiencer. Jeev Goswami's commentary. Having explained bhava, the author now explains prema. The main quality, Swarupa Lakshana, is its very condensed nature, Sandratma. The other two qualities are secondary characteristics, Tathastha Lakshana. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura's commentary. Having explained bhava, the author now explains prema. In prema, the heart, swanta, becomes extremely soft, samyan mastranita, in comparison to preliminary condition of bhava, in which the heart becomes soft. Moreover, prem is condensed bliss, the highest state of bliss compared to the preliminary state of bhava, which has the preliminary appearance of bliss. Prema also has extreme possessiveness of Krishna. That type of bhava is called prema. A doubt now arises, if bhava is the cause of prema and if it transforms itself into prema, it is called the material cause, upadana karanam, of prema according to Sankhya philosophy. Then bhava must give up its previous state and transform into prema. The effect cannot exist independently of the cause. It is similar to raw liquid sugar, which gives up its first state and becomes solid raw sugar. When the solid raw sugar appears, the raw liquid sugar no longer has a separate existence. The solid raw sugar then becomes white sugar and then the refined sugar. When the refined sugar exists, then the liquid raw sugar, solid raw sugar, and white sugar no longer exists. In this case also bhava becomes prema and thus bhava should no longer exist. When prema becomes sneha and sneha becomes raga, then prema and sneha should both disappear and only raga should remain. Moreover, if the highest state of Mahabhava appears in Radha and others, then all the previous states should disappear. This is not true. Bhava becomes prema without giving up its previous state because of the achintya Shakti present in Rati, Prema, Sneha, Raga, Mana, Pranaya, Anuraga, and Mahabhava, which are the supreme transformations of the Hladini Shakti. Thus, Bhava exists separately from Prema, and Sneha and other advanced stages exist separately from Prema. An example is given. The Balya body of Krishna attains a little more sweetness and attains the Poganda state, but without giving up the Balya state, but without giving up the Balya state. The Poganda body then attains more excellence and becomes the Kaishora body without giving up the previous condition. It is unlike the material body, which on attaining boyhood gives up its baby body. This is all the pastimes of Krishna during his ages, with all his bodies are eternal. When Krishna, sorry, Prabhu, my
Here,
screen
Mother.
went. One
Here,
second.
Mother.
What happened? Okay. Yeah, sorry, Prabhu. When
No worries.
Krishna enters his Poganda body, the Balya body disappears and then appears in the universe in which his Balya pastimes are about to begin. The Balya body appears whenever the Balya pastimes begin in Vrindavana within a particular universe. The Balya body of Krishna will also appear in a future Kalpa of Brahma during the Vaivasvata Manvantara when Vrindavana appears on earth again. Similar to this, the sun disappears from this continent in the evening and appears in another continent, but after 12 hours, it again appears in this continent. The eternal nature of the pastimes and the ages of Krishna are explained in detail in the commentaries on the Bhagavatam by the devotees. One should consult these works if one has questions. Getting back to the present case, among those who have bhava, prema, and sthai bhavas, when a particular sthai bhavas appear in a devotee under particular conditions or causes, one should understand that other bhavas are still present in the devotee, but in unmanifest form. They are not destroyed. Similarly, among the material persons who have anger, lust, and other emotions, when one emotion among them surfaces, the others still exist, but in the form of impressions.
Okay. This was a long, long purport. What is the takeaway?
Prabhuji, I believe I like the example towards the end when it was discussed about the sun. Like sun appears in one continent at a time and disappears from the other.
Mhm.
Similarly, Krishna's pastimes, even though the Poganda form, body form is there, when it's a Balya forms appears, and similarly when it's Poganda form, Balya form is still there. I think it's mainly they're talking about the characteristics of the Lord, because Lord is eternal and similar to his pastime. So each one is present at different moments of time.
Okay, but what was the context even to bring this topic? Where this started?
I I think the comparison was from Sankhya philosophy, where they are saying, like, when this form comes, then the previous form should disappear. Like they were discussing about the refining the sugar. Um, s- uh,
And why that example came? Why?
um, I think this is kind of questioning how is the other bhava still there when the prema is coming? Prema is there.
Exactly. The point it is being made that do not think that the bhava has become prema, which because that's how. And then the analogy was given that just like the sugar, people will compare with that how the sugar has shaped, taking shape, and now it has become the white sugar. It means bhava has converted into prema. It's telling no, no, no. Bhava exists simultaneously with prema, and now then the examples are being given for that. That how Krishna's pastime is eternal, the Balya Roop is going continuing, then the Poganda, and it's all going on simultaneously in a different universe. In one universe, it may seem that the Balya has become Poganda, or Poganda has become Keshora, but it's continuing. So it is giving that these are the things which may not seem very logical to us, but is now being explained in a wider context, and that's the reason the whole purport is so big. So the takeaway is for us is that once the devotee moves is reaching prema, the bhava, the feeling of bhava also exists there, while the devotee is at the prema level also. So those both the things are there. So that's the point which is being made. So that's one. Okay, then how the prema is different from the bhava? That is also being talked about. That is the main subject matter of this verse. It is the definition of prema. So what is being talked about here?
Yeah, the first initial lines were kind of technical, Prabhu. Went over my head.
Yeah, no, no. So just read here. So when bhava becomes extremely condensed, it's very simple. Okay.
Okay.
So in the bhava, they, there is the feeling, right? Now it is the feeling is becoming more condensed. So what is the difference between bhava and prema? So from the emotion perspective, becoming condensed. And and then what are the secondary symptoms? So that is the primary symptoms. The secondary symptom, the tatastha lakshana, is it softens the heart completely. So in the bhava, the softening has started, but not the whole heart has been softened completely. There are still things there, like some desire, and that's the reason it's not completely softened, right? The emotions are not fully baked in. It is work in progress, so it will complete softening, right? And produces extreme possessiveness. That the third one, right? The in bhava, the possessiveness has started, but the intensity of possessiveness is at a totally different level in the prema. Okay, so it's just the gradation. So whatever the stages which were talked about, the different characteristics that were talked about in bhava, those same characteristic remains in prema, but at a very high scale with the higher level of intensity. So that is the definition of prema. That's and then further explanation.
Can you
Make
go? Can
sense?
you scroll? Or can you scroll up to that translation? I wanted to ask a question.
Yes, Mataji.
Um, what does that mean? It says here on the translation, it softens the heart completely and produces extreme possessiveness of the Lord in the experiencer. What does that mean?
Yeah, so experiential in this case means the practitioner. Okay, so the practitioner who has gone to the level of bhava, right? Now, to get into the level of bhava, the secondary symptoms is the softening of the heart. So heart has started softening, and how the heart is softening means. So if the question is how we can ex- how we can say that my heart has softened. So some of the examples is that one feel compassionate for all beings, all animals, all plants, everything, even the insect, they are very compassionate towards them, right? So it's because they see Krishna in everything. So softening has started happening. But is it fully softened yet? Maybe for my enemy, who my enemy number one, for somebody, it is, oh, is Krishna, okay, Krishna form, but still I haven't able to forgive, right? There's tinge might be there, right? It's very subtle, but the tinge might be there. So it's not completely softened yet. And once that also goes away, that even the biggest of the enemy of a one person who has hurt him or her for the longest time are seen as equal, right? And these are very good verses in like chapter 6 in Bhagavad Gita 7, 8, 9, which talks about the samdarshana, how to see the world with the equal vision. It talks about it, the different stages, how first the devotee sees that the stone and the gold, they are all at the same, they are all the same. And then the third stage, higher stages, they consider their enemy and the lover all at the same level, right? So that's the example of the softening of the heart, and this is what an experiencer, the practitioner, start experiencing within their heart.
Thank you.
So there is a picture, right, in one of the books, Prabhuji, where um, Lord Gauranga is dancing in the forest, and all the, I think, Samadarshana, where there is the lion, the tiger, and different types of animals in the same place, and I think the sage is able to see Krishna in each one of them as the
Yes,
super soul.
yes, yes, Mataji. Yes,
I just
very
want.
good.
So the last part where it says possessiveness of the Lord in the experiencer.
Yes. So
What's that? Like
okay,
possessiveness.
yeah, that
Experiencer.
means Lord. So before it is, I want Krishna, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want Krishna. But then Krishna is mine. I I would not share Krishna with anybody. Krishna is mine. So that kind of possessiveness. So just see, the wife is telling, he is my husband. He belongs to me. Nobody else. He is my husband. He is my husband. That's the intense. So that's the intense love which a wife is showing for the husband. He is my husband, right? So that's kind of intensity. Oh, Krishna is universal. He is God. I do not care. Krishna is mine. Krishna is mine, and I will do anything for Krishna. So that Krishna is mine is not the at the from the selfish perspective, right? Because we say, hey, it seems selfish that, oh, you're not sharing Krishna. From the intensity perspective. The devoted practitioner, no, Krishna belongs to everybody. He is universal God and he loves everybody. But from the practitioner perspective, the desire is so strong that I cannot leave Krishna even for a moment, right? I cannot leave Krishna even for a moment. And just, you can, very good example, rasa dance, how once Radharani left, how Krishna couldn't stop, and he goes after that. And when how with Krishna leaves, all the gopis, they are just going like a mad person and just looking for where is Krishna, and they see Narayana and they don't even care. They don't ask for the boon or anything like that. They ask Narayana, have you seen Krishna? They don't care whether it's a God or whatever. They are looking for their Krishna. So that's the kind of possessiveness is being talked about here.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody would like to add any other example, any other thoughts here? Okay. So Bri Mataji, read 1.42.
Translation. In the Pancharatra, it is said, Prema is defined by Bhisma, Prahlad, Uddhava, and Narada as that bhava which has possessiveness related to Vishnu or any other form of the Lord and no one else. Jiva Goswami's commentary. It should be understood that starting from verse 6, Evam Vrata, the author will give examples to support his own definition. Here he quotes a different definition of Prema in order to show its agreement with his definition by consideration of the grammar. Bhakti means Bhava in this verse.
Okay. So here the other definition from the Pancharatra is coming, where the prema is defined by Bhishma, Prahlada, Uddhava, and Narada as that bhava which has possessiveness related to Vishnu or any other form of Lord. So here the definition of prema is directly in relationship to the degree of possessiveness for Vishnu, which is Vishnu is the general term which is being used like a Vishnu tattva, right? There's a general but here it can mean any form of Lord, which can include Krishna also. So this is coming from that perspective. Okay, Mataji, go ahead. 3.
Translation. The analysis of the grammar of the above verse is as follows. Bhava is called prema by Bhisma and others where there's possessiveness, namata,
Mamata.
mamata, related to Sangati, to Vishnu, and where possessiveness of other things, anaya mamata, is absent. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. This verse analyzes the verse from the Pancharatra. Bhakti means bhava. It should be devoid of strong possessiveness of the body, house, and other items. That possessiveness, which is related to Vishnu, is called prema by Bhisma and others.
Okay, so what the text is trying to say here?
You don't want anything else. You don't want anything but Krishna. You don't have any consideration for anything else.
Yeah, so here the one word which I would like to emphasize, mamata. Okay, so for the folks who knows the Devanagari, I mean the word which gets used, can somebody tell me what the mamata is related with? Typically, when you hear the word mamata, what the relationship is?
Mahatma.
Prabhuji, motherly love, unconditional.
Yes, Yes, mamta. Yes. So this is the possessiveness. This is a very good example. Example, just the way mother possesses the child, right? This child is mine. This child is mine. And just to imagine, if you here, most of you are mothers, you have been mothers, see how like you are holding your child, like this child is mine, this child is mine. Even like sometimes like you won't even let it go to your husbands, right? So this child is mine. That's the kind of possessiveness which is being talked in this definition. And this is what, so when say Krishna is mine, this is the kind of love is being talked about at a very high level. Very, so it's a high level of intensity. Okay, Mata, you read.
Translation. This prema for the Lord has two types, that arising from Bhav and that arising from mercy.
Okay. Jai Radha Mataji, you can continue.
Translation. This prema for the Lord has two types, the arising from Bhava and the arising from mercy.
Okay.
Translation. Prema arising from Bhava is explained. That Bhava which reaches the highest excellence by continual service using all essentials, agnas, is called prema arising from Bhava.
Okay, so before we go further, let's make sure that we are not losing um, the how the other topic is coming, right? So it started with the chapter started with the definition of prema, right? There was one definition was given, which is that whatever is being described in the bhava, which is the emotions growing higher, then the secondary symptoms, the softening of the heart becoming very high, and then the possessiveness, right? It is growing, right? So that's what the classic definition. Then the second definition, which was talked about from the Pancharatra, where the word mamtav was used, right? The possessiveness, and so only in this criteria, it doesn't even go into a secondary criteria. It only uses one criteria. What is the degree of possessiveness? And then we hear we had the discussion on the mamtav word, right? Now it is telling this prema for the Lord has two types, that arising from bhava and that arising from mercy. So now we are getting into the section of prema arising from bhava. The bhava which reaches the highest excellence by continual service using all essential angas is called prema arising from bhava. So we have what angas is being talked about? What does it mean? All essential angas?
Navaveda Bhakti, Prabhu?
Yeah, 64 angas we talked about, right? In this chapter, 64
Oh,
angas, right? 64 angas. These are, and then and the last one are the five most important angas. So that's the angas which is being talked about, right? So Sarvanam Kirtan means all those things, right? Yeah. Okay, continue, Mataji. Jai Radha Mataji.
Translation. An example of prema arising from Vedi Bhava is supplied from the 11th canto. Having performed his vows according to Vedi Bhakti, chanting the holy name of his beloved Lord, he developed great attachment, and his heart melts with ecstatic love. He laughs very loudly, cries, or shouts. Sometimes he sings and dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to public opinion. Srimad Bhagavatam 11-2-40.
Okay, so
Jiva,
before we go, just hold on. Before we go, now it is talking about, so there are the Vadi Sadhana Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, right? Now it is talking about how the Vadi Bhakti is getting converted into the Prema, right? These two types, right? So two types happens here, arising from sorry, here, um, uh, 4.5. Okay, this prema for Lord has two types, arising from bhava and that arising from mercy. So it is talking about the bhava, and within that type, the vadi bhakti is being described, how from the vadi one is reaching the level of prema. Okay, so that's what Mataji just read. So now go ahead into the commentary.
Jiva Goswami's commentary. Vedhi means produced from Vedi. By following the rules of Vedi Sadhana Bhakti, Vadi Baba appears. From that, Vedi Baba appears a corresponding prema. That is the meaning of Vedi Bhavotata. Ivam Vrata performing vows indicates that the prema arose from Vedi Baba. The word priyaye deer, indicates the attachment of Bhava. Sva indicates the devotee's possessiveness of the Lord. Jatat Nuraga indicates extreme possessiveness. Vishvanatha Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Vrata means a person performing vows of sadhana according to the methods discussed in the second wave, and indicates Vedi sadhana. Since vratas are related to rules and regulation in Vedic Bhakti, the word Priya Nama Kirtaya indicates that Bhava has appeared from chanting Krishna's name, because the word Priya in this verse indicates that the Lord has become very dear to the chanter. The word Swa, one's own, indicates a feeling of possessiveness of the Lord. The Lord has become one's own object of affection. Jata Nuraga indicates intense possessiveness, which in a symptom of prema, rati means to make sounds loudly other than crying, which has already been described by the word roditi. Loka Bahaya means he is beyond ordinary humans or extraordinary.
Right. So see, the analysis is mainly uh, more technical level, is going into word by word and is telling what it means. But right, the meaning remains here, right? That from the Vedi Bhakti, how one's performed his vows according. So one is who is doing the Vedi Bhakti, and they're sincerely chanting the holy name of his beloved Lord. That person over time develops the great attachment to the holy name and to the Lord. And then what happens? His heart melts with ecstatic love. Right? It's a complete melting of the heart, which is the definition of the prema, complete melting of the heart. And then what are the symptoms? This is the different kind of bhava which is happening, right? It starts with a sanchari bhava. He laughs sometimes, he laughs loudly, cries, or shouts. Sometimes he sings and just dance like a madman, right? The sanchari bhava is like very fluctuating. For he's indifferent to public opinion. It doesn't really matter how people seeing this person as a madman or a madwoman. Okay, so and then for the further explanation. All right.
He doesn't.
So here, yes, Mataji, tell me.
Oh, you said he does all that while he's chanting. He's ecstatic. He's dancing. He's crying. He does
Yeah.
all
So
that.
yeah. Yes, while chanting, he just stops chanting and suddenly he starts crying, or suddenly he starts dancing, right? So all those things, the different behavior might be happening. Do you mean something else, Mataji? You're trying to say something?
No, that was my question.
Okay, okay, all right. Uh, okay, Mrunali Mataji.
Yes, ma'am. Translation: Prema arising from Bhava based on Raganuga sadhana is described in the Padma Purana. In this Manvantara period, the beautiful faced Chandrakanti observed continuous celibacy and continuously meditated only on the form of Krishna, thinking one should not desire anyone else as a husband. She sang songs about him with hairs standing on end. She developed complete affection for Krishna by hearing stories about Krishna. Jiva Goswami's
Okay, so
commentary.
before we go to the commentary, so what is the linkage of this verse to the previous verse? See, the previous verse was about the Vedi Bhakti, right? So it is coming. So before that, Prema can come from Bhava or Mercy. Now Bhava was further divided into two parts. One from the Vedi Bhakti, one coming to Prema, and the second is from Raganuga Bhakti, one coming to Prema. So this is that verse. Okay, and then
Okay.
the example of the Chandrakanti, a person was described, which has happened in the past, that how she was she was saying one should not desire anyone else as a husband. Like, so that's the intensity. She only desired Krishna and like nobody else as her husband, right? So it's not that she was well read in scriptures or anything like that. She just I want Krishna, nobody else. and she dedicated her life. And she was used to sing songs about him with hair standing. She was experiencing all kind of static symptoms, which has been talked about the prema. Okay, so okay, now read the commentary, Mataji.
Jiva Goswami commentary. It is understood that because she meditated only on the deity of Krishna, she had already achieved bhava for that deity. She did not desire anyone else as a husband. Na kamayat should be na kamayata Atmane Pada, meaning one should not desire any husband for oneself. This indicates a feeling of deep possessiveness of Krishna. Thus, prema is indicated as per the definition of prema given in verse 1. The verb bhabuva became should be added to snigdha. The meaning becomes she developed complete affection.
Okay.
Something hit me, Prabhu.
Yes,
Meera,
Mataji. Yes, yes.
Meera Devi. Yeah,
Mirabai is the yes
Meera
other
Bai.
example. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
She is the famous one.
yeah.
All right, Mataji. 1.49. Go ahead.
Translation Prema arising from the great mercy of Lord is explained. The great mercy of the Lord includes such things as the Lord giving his association to the devotee.
Okay.
Vishwanath,
So now, what is the link of this verse from the previous verse?
so Lord gets the association of the Lord with the devotees
No, no, no.
becomes
It's
intense.
You
no, no.
can get
It's simple, simple, simple.
you can
So
get
see,
mercy.
go ahead,
Um,
Mataji. Yes, please.
so
Where is
you can get prima by astangas or mercy.
Yes. So it's said that prema one can get from by two different types. One is from the bhava, other from the mercy. So then two types of the bhava were described. What were two types of the bhava which was described?
Vaidi
Vedi, and then
and
the second one,
Ra-
Raganuga.
Raganaga.
Now, yeah, now the example of the mercy is now being described, like how one gets prema from the mercy of the Lord. Okay, now please go ahead.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's commentary. The Lord giving his personal association to the devotee is called Ati Prasada or extreme mercy because that is the result of Lord's mercy.
Okay, Priti Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhu. Translation. In the 11th canto, Prema arising from the Lord's mercy, in this case, association is illustrated as follows. The persons I have mentioned did not undergo serious studies of the Vedic literature, nor did they worship great saintly persons, nor did they execute severe vows or austerities. Simply by association with my devotees and me, they achieved me. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.12.7. Jeev Goswami's commentary. The persons who achieved the Lord and who are mentioned here are Bali and others mentioned in the previous verse of Bhagavatam. They did not study the Vedas, na adhita shruti gana, in order to attain me. They did not worship the great masters, Mahatma, in order to learn the Vedas. Mat Sangat, which can mean from the association with my devotees or association with me. In this case means attaining prema from association with me principally among all the types of association that one may attain. They then attain me. Though the Lord is an independent position out of humility, he counts himself among the devotees. That is why it is expressed in this way. Thus, the verse may be quoted to show that one can achieve prema from the mercy of the Lord.
Okay, so what this verse is all about?
Um, I think mainly it's about association. Lord is talking about association with devotees and himself. Bali and others were able to attain, even though they didn't do any, like they didn't have any scriptural or Vedic knowledge, still they were able to attain him.
Very good. Yeah. So this is the example of the mercy, how from the mercy one can get the prema. And then the example of Bali and others were given who did not go through all the sadhana bhakti or anything like that. But because they were in the association of Ram, they got the direct mercy and they achieved the prema. Right. So that's the example. All right, Mataji, continue.
Translation. Prema arising from the Lord's mercy has two types: that endowed with knowledge of the Lord's powers, and that endowed with only the knowledge of Lord's sweetness. Jiv Goswami's commentary. Here it is explained that this prema has two types. Just as prema arising from bhava had two types, kevala only indicates knowledge only of the sweetness of the Lord with no mixture at all.
Okay, so what is this again in your own words?
Um, I mean, mainly defining about describing about mercy of the Lord. That is also two types. One is with knowledge, and other is with Lord's sweetness.
Yes, one is the Lord power and one is the Lord sameness. So one is the l- l- Ashwarya, right? Ashwarya Bhav. Lord is so great. There's so many Lakshmi serves him, right? Just like the uh, Balaji form, right? So Ashwarya. The other
So,
is the sweetness.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Mataji.
so can we also consider the Dwarakadish form of the Lord here when we say Aishwarya?
Yeah, with power. Yeah, Ashwarya. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. And then the Lord's sweetness is,
Cowherd boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Vraja of pastime, Vraja pastime. So so the two different type of prema which can happen. One is with the Ashwarya, other is with the sweetness, which is the Vraja type. Okay, continue.
Yeah. Yeah, Prabhuji, Madhuram song, Adharam Madhuram.
Adharam, Madhuram. Yes, yes.
um, yeah. Translation. Oh, sorry. Yeah, translation. Prema endowed with knowledge of the power of the Lord arising from the Lord's mercy is described in Pancharatra. Affection for the Lord more than anyone else, which is very firm and includes knowledge of the Lord's power, is called bhakti. By that bhakti, a person attains powers in the spiritual world as well as other rewards. There is no other way of attaining such things. Vishwanath Chakrathi Thakura's commentary. Two verses, this and the next one from Pancharatra, now show prema with knowledge of the Lord's powers and without the knowledge of Lord's powers. Mahatmya Jnanam, knowledge of Lord's powers, means awareness that He is God. This awareness, with particular respect for the Lord, restricts feelings of Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura. Though there is no also awareness of the Lord's powers in persons practicing Raganuga Bhakti, that awareness does not restrict their feelings of Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura Bhakti. This knowledge of the Lord's greatness, complete affection for the Lord is called Bhakti. By that type of Bhakti, the person attains sars, sarshti and other blessings.
Okay, so what is the takeaway from this?
So, in this again, they are mentioning about two types of prema, like one with Lord's Aishwarya powers and one without Lord's power. Um, one is like when we consider him as the Lord and showing the respect. So then it's mostly we won't consider it in a Madhurya form, I believe. Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. I'm kind of confused in this, Prabhuji,
Okay.
because when we say without, in the second, when they are saying like without the knowledge of Lord's powers, so for Vraja Vrindavan people, they never considered him as the Lord, and still they had a different kind of relationships with him. So
Hmm.
I believe that that explains the second part. But then even for the first, it's saying like restricts the feelings, so it means that is not included. Is that what it's trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the Aishwarya, so there are five asthai bhava, right? Um,
Mhm.
Santya, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. In the
Yeah.
case of Aishwarya, Prema, this is the Prema, okay? The the Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya is restricted. So it's more at the level of Dasya, right? That, oh, Lord
Mhm.
is my master, right? Lord is my master, how great he is. And that's how the practitioner submits to the Lord. And that's what it is being described here. It is the how the person who is in the Aishwarya Prema would think. And then Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur expands that Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya will be restricted. Though there is also awareness of the Lord's powers in person practicing Raganuga Bhakti, that awareness does not restrict their feeling of Sakhya. So now he's contrasting. So here you see, this is the key where the it can make sense. Mahatma Jnana, right? So Mahatma Jnana
Mhm.
means from the Aishwarya, there is the knowledge that Lord is great, and from that greatness, the prema is coming. When that prema is happening from the level of dasya. So Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya are restricted. But then he's contrasting that. Don't think that the person who is in the Vraja, which might be coming from the Raga Nuga Bhakti, that they are
Mhm.
not aware of the power. They are aware of that
Mhm.
Krishna is Bhagwan and he is most powerful. But that is not restricting the Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya Bhakti. For example, in Vraja,
Mhm.
right? Many times
Mhm.
it happened that the Gopas, they know that Krishna is doing this. Krishna broke this Sakta Sura Leela and he is doing that.
Mhm.
And they are telling the elders of the family. Nobody believes. Even after seeing this, the Gopa and the Gopi, they forget about Krishna as a god. So they are aware very well that Krishna has all the power. But that doesn't diminishes their feeling of Sakhya, Madhurya, and Vasalya. Okay, so that's what it's
Mhm.
talking about.
Sure, Prabhuji. And when we say Aishwarya Bhav or the Dasya Bhav, we can consider Hanumanji as
Yes,
the
yes,
form. Okay.
yes.
Thank you, Prabhu.
All. Thank you, Mataji. So I'm just thinking, Premana. Okay, just finish 13 also because that way it complete. So one that was Aishwarya and the 13 is about the sweetness. So let's do this also.
Sure, Prabhu. I like today's class. There are so many pastimes.
Mhm.
Translation. A prema with knowledge of the Lord's sweetness arising from the Lord's mercy is described as follows in the Pancharatra. That bhakti inundated with prema, with continuous spontaneous desires to please the Lord, free of desires for other results, even the desire to see his powers, brings even Vishnu under control.
Okay, so what is the takeaway from this?
So I think the in the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna was shown the Virat Rupa, Prabhuji, uh, I think while discussing, we discussed like we shouldn't be looking to have the Lord in the form of Virat Rupa. It's mainly we should look him as a Krishna two-handed form instead of Virat Rupa. Um, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, Mataji, but see that's little uh,
Different.
unrelated. Yeah,
Okay.
means yeah, it's not completely unrelated, but little unrelated in this context. It is telling that the devotee who are coming to prema from the Lord mercy, um, uh, Lord mercy driven by the Madhurya, right? Not the Aishwarya, but by the
Mm.
Madhurya. They are inundated with prema. With it's of course it's continuous spontaneous desire, which is a continuous spontaneous desire exists in Aishwarya also. But in
Mhm.
this case, the continuous spontaneous desire is that I do not want anything from the Lord, even his power. I don't even care about his power. Whether my Lord is powerful or not, I really don't care. And this is a very good example of Vraja Bhakti, that how the Gopi and Gopa, even though they know Krishna is the Lord, right? He's lifting the Govardhan and everything, but they ignore all those stuff. Krishna is my friend. Krishna is my son. Krishna is my lover, right? That's exactly. So this is exactly what is being described. That in this case, what happens? The symptom is that the Krishna becomes the subservient of the devotee. So this is the only love which can bind Krishna in the love of his devotee, right? So this is the pinnacle of love. So the different type of prema, right? Aishwarya prema that exists, yes, but this prema, the Vraj prema, is the pinnacle of all the prema. Okay, so let's meditate on that. We have 7 more verses to go. So we will finish the chapter in the next class. And by the way, we will, instead of Friday, we will have the class on Thursday. Will will it work for you? Can you guys all make it work on Thursday evening, same time, 6 to 7, or
Okay,
whatever it
Prabhu.
takes?
Prabhuji, I'll be traveling. I can be in listening mode, but
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Other devotees?
Yes, for me, it's okay.
It's okay, Prabhu.
Mataji, for you?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, please try, because because see, then what happens? Thursday, then Harivams Prabhu is coming. He is visiting. Yeah, he visits every year, so we will be hosting him. So we'll get busy. So then and then his classes are there. We haven't sent the announcement, but the announcement will be going out. His classes will be there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll miss the class on Friday, then we'll class on Monday. So I just wanted to wrap up our sessions in next class. So Thursday will be our last class of the Nectar of Devotion. So if you can join, that would be awesome. Okay, so I don't want to delay it and don't want to take it to July. I would rather uh, complete the class this month.
Are we going to start something new?
Of course,
Himanshu,
we can.
Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Himanshu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when is
He's
he taking, Prabhu?
Mataji. He's coming on Friday.
Okay,
And
what
but
time
but
he'll take?
we will share it will go on
Oh,
the
okay, okay,
on the WhatsApp group. Okay,
okay,
so but
Prabhu.
his classes will be on Monday. So he is doing the 4-part series: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. Okay, at the devotees home. All right, so we'll sharing the detail on that. So with that, Hare Krishna, we covered a lot of ground today, so I would say that please meditate. Let's make sure that we remember some of these things, even though these are far, but let's take that as an aspiration. This is where we have to reach. First we have to start with the desire, right? Desire. And then with little mercy, lot of effort from us, and little mercy from Krishna, everything is possible. All right? And let's support each other. Hari bol.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Hari bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hari Bol.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.